Keep yourself in the loop of everything football. Listen to Alex and Jeremiah on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Hello there, I'm Jeremiah.
I am Alex, always and forever here.
Dedicated to college and NFL football. The latest football news on and off the field. NFL draft trade rumors. We've got you covered from the NFL, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and everything else in between. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we discuss the latest news, rumors, and games of the NFL and college football, to the latest signings, to this year's breakout stars, and all the news in between. As always, I'm Alex.
And I am the other host, Jeremiah.
Okay. That was weird.
Well, how was it weird? I was doing.
That was like the weirdest way of doing it.
I was trying to do the dramatic pause.
You're trying to do my dramatic pauses?
Yeah.
You know, you like them. We got a full show ahead of us.
I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to get used to him now.
Yeah, because you can tell, like, you used to think I was stopping, like, in the middle of a sentence.
And
you'd,
it would
like, go to say
me.
something, and I would go, and then I would just start talking again.
Yeah, it would kind of annoy me. Like, really?
It's honestly not dramatic. It's so I can get my thoughts in place.
Yeah,
you
I know.
And sometimes
I know.
This time of year, it's my allergies, so sometimes I'm pausing and I'm literally going, I'm dying over here. So it helps. But we do have a full show for you guys today. We're previewing tonight's football games, that being the New York Jets taking on division rival Buffalo Bills, and number 6 Houston taking on the Cincinnati Bearcats. Those are the two games we are previewing today. What other news do we have for them today, Jeremy?
We are also going
to do
the final drive.
I'm not repeating it that way.
Yeah.
We're doing the final drive, which we previewed earlier this week. The final drive is one of our segments in which we go over, some of the news that we missed through the week. We do kind of Sunday recap on Monday with the preview of the games that night. Game. Tuesday is a recap of the game and kind of, a recap of that week of football injuries, news, so on and so forth.
Tuesday's mostly about the Monday night game.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of
news that really officially came out after the week of football.
And then Wednesday is more of the Wacky Wednesday shows.
Yeah, Wild Left Wednesday, Wacky Wednesday, For Real.
For Real?
Thursday night.
That was a fun show.
Yeah, Thursday night we preview the Thursday night game, and then we kind of just talk about the stuff we missed.
Yeah, on the final drive.
Final drive.
And Friday, Alex is not here. So,
nope.
Yeah, that doesn't apply to him.
No, it doesn't apply to me at all.
No.
So don't tell me about it, so I never have to know.
You don't even listen to the Friday show?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, anyways, let's get this show started.
Okay.
So
let's start with the New York Jets taking on Buffalo Bills. They are both one loss in the loss column, 0-1 each, having lost for the Jets to the Bengals, 23-22, and 13-7 loss for the Buffalo Bills against the Baltimore Ravens. Neither of these teams looked amazing, but do you know a fun fact that's not so fun for the Buffalo Bills? They, not the Rams, they were responsible for the lowest total yardage by an offense this week in Week 1.
The Buffalo Bills were
170. Hold on, let me get the number. 176. The Rams had 190 something, like 8 or something, 198. But yes, 176 Week 1 low. Responsible for that total was the Buffalo Bills. But what?
The Bills' defense only allowed 13 points.
They did. They only allowed 13 points. They allowed 341 yards, but only 83 on the ground. I mean, the Jets did a little better in that aspect, 57 against the Bengals. But the Bills' defense was the higher point for them, surprisingly, after an offseason in which a lot of defensive guys got hurt or suspended or left via free agency. The defense did play well. Again, 13 points. I mean, the Ravens' offense didn't exactly click on all cylinders, but they did play well. So that's a high point. Now, the Jets, I mean, they scored 22 points. Fitzpatrick played well Week 1 for the most part. He had 189 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Not amazing. Forte was good in his first game as a Jet, at least in the regular season. 22 carries, 96 yards. He was also the leading receiver with 59 yards. But do you really want your running back to be your leading receiver? I don't know. But again, their offense did better than the Bills. So it's really going to come down to whose offense is going to play better against pretty similar defenses, I suppose. You know?
Yeah, and I expect this game to be pretty much low scoring. Pretty much.
Okay.
Because, Tyrod Taylor, he didn't show that explosiveness like he did last week. But then again, this is only week 1. So it's not time to overreact on Tyrod Taylor.
No.
I expect him to have a bounce-back game, but I don't expect him to light it up either. He did take care of the football. He didn't have an interception. And, I expect LaShawn McCoy to have a kind of a similar game, but with more yardage on the ground. Sammy Watkins is playing.
Yes,
he said he wants to play, and he is listed as questionable.
Early as today,
but
as recently as today.
He probably will play.
I believe he will.
But Watkins, I probably see him having similar production as last year. He's going to draw a lot of targets, but he is playing a good defense. So I expect a similar game.
Well, my question to you is,
from Watkins?
Yeah, well, my question to you is, the first time they played last year, Revis kind of handled that game.
Yeah.
The second time, Watkins got some space on Revis and played well. So this is the third time they're going to play one another. The Bills swept this series last year, as a matter of fact, so that you know that. But coming off a week in which Revis followed A.J. Green around, and no offense to Sammy Watkins, but he's no A.J. Green.
No.
And had an off week against their number 1 receiver. What do you see Watkins doing this week against
Well, it's
Revis?
because I see Revis having a bounce-back game, too, because he got torched by A.J. Green.
A.J. Green's good, man. You know what I think it is?
week.
Is Revis is good, and he's always had good technique. That's what's made him so good. And he's an amazing athlete, but he is getting older now. And A.J. Green is entering the prime of his career. He's not even in it yet, Men, like I've said this before on the show, typically men's athletic primes start around 30. That's when your body is fully, like, you're used to the size you've been for a while. You're not like, oh, my arms are too long for my body. It's only been a couple months that I've been this tall, kind of thing like that. You're in your prime in that sense. And he's still young, so he's entering his prime. Unfortunately for Revis, he's starting to leave that. And it just makes sense to me in that aspect, you know what I mean? But Revis still technically in the I'm sorry, I'm struggling to phrase this right. In the technical standpoint of the way he plays, he still is very good. You know what I mean? For what he makes up, it's like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning lost arm strength, but he always had timing. It made up for it. You have to change your game a bit, and I think that's why he struggled last week. AJ Green is that good, and he's just entering all the possibilities. So. Same thing with Sammy. I mean, again, Sammy, no offense to him, he's no A.J. Green, though.
Yeah, he's not A.J. Green. I'm not going to say that Watkins is going to – I'm not going to say he's not going to be that good because he still has that potential. But, Watkins has struggled with injuries since he entered the league 2 years ago. But anyways, yeah, I do expect Watkins to have similar production because I think Revis is going to have a bounce-back game. Because A.J. Green is not as good as Watkins, as we just talked about. And
you mean the other way around? Watkins isn't as good as AJ?
Yeah, there you go. My bad.
I was like, yeah, AJ Green sucks.
No, and then I actually like what I saw from Matt Forte.
Yeah, he looked good.
I didn't expect him to, be really productive because he's older now. He's getting he's 30, 31 years old. And he's still showing he has it. If he stays healthy, he's going to be huge for the Jets.
He had a little bit of a break year, I suppose, last year,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was responsible for over 100 yards of their offense alone, you know what I mean? He played really well, in my opinion.
Especially when the offense that has Eric Decker and Brandon Marshall, who...
And Fitzmagic.
The receivers, they both had 1,000-yard seasons receiving last year. And then Fitzpatrick, he's still... Fitzmagic, But yeah, sure. I expect this to be a smash-mouth football game. And, I expect both defenses to come out strong. And none of these teams can afford to start 0-2.
Yeah.
Because, but
one of them is.
We both I think we can both agree that we thought both of these teams could possibly contend for a wild card spot.
Yep.
About a few months ago. And I still think so, too. I still think both of these teams have enough talent to contend for the playoffs.
I agree.
So that's why this game's so important. And I think this is kind of a must-win game for Rex Ryan also.
You think?
In a way, yeah, because if he doesn't, I think if he doesn't make the playoffs, I don't know. I think he might be on the hot seat.
I think he will be on the hot seat. I don't know if he'll get fired this year. If he
No,
make the
he won't.
playoffs.
He won't get fired this year. But I'm telling you right now,
Sorry, that talk.
But it'll start that. It'll start that talk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I think it's a must-win for both of them only because it's a division game. You know, you don't want to start 0-2, but in the sense of a week 2 game, you know, I mean, every game is in a sense a must-win when you want to play at a certain level. But you know, I think you know it's more so you want to win it. You know, it's not a need to win. You know, you're not in desperate need of a win. It is week 2, but of course they want to win. You know, the Jets playing one of the rivals. Same thing with the Bills, let alone Rex's old team and so on and so forth. So if you look at it that way, who do you have winning this game?
Who do I have winning? I think I'm gonna go with the Jets, man. Because one reason. I have the Jets defense on my fantasy team, but the second reason is I just think, the offense just has more weapons than the Bills' offense does. And nothing against Tyrod Taylor. I just don't see him. He struggled last week against, kind of I wouldn't say mediocre, but like a pretty solid defense. But it's a
little bit better than average.
A little bit better than they were last year.
Oh, yeah, they got pieces
back.
And
then the Jets, they had 7 sacks last week.
They did. That was insane.
7 sacks against the Bengals. So that's why I think Tyrod Taylor is going to have a tough time. And I expect the Jets to come out because of their defense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So to keep things interesting, then I'll go with the Bills.
You can go with Bills?
Only because I'm close, with it. And just to keep it fun between us, I'll go Bills.
Okay. Oh, some opposition here.
Yeah,
okay.
I think the Bills definitely need a bounce back game in terms of their offense.
Both of these teams need a bounce back game.
In terms of their offense, though, I mean, the Jets at least had success on offense last week. I think Tyrod needs to have a game like he had against them both times for the most part last year, and he needs to get his offensive pieces in the game. He needs to get them involved, and I think if they can do that, then they could be talking a win here. As it stands currently, it's 63.2% win probability on ESPN for the Bills.
Yeah, no, I have seen
36.5.
that. I have seen that, yeah.
And don't forget, this is the first time ever in the history of the universe that a Thursday night NFL game is being streamed live on Twitter.
Oh, yes. Yes. Don't forget about that, people.
Yes, and YouTube.
Twitter's changing the game.
Isn't it one other place too?
It's on
YouTube or something.
I don't know about YouTube. I think it's on CBS.
NFL.com maybe.
Because
they it's like the first 8 weeks or whatever they do the NFL Network and CBS.
Yeah, they do it on like 2 channels.
And then they just do NFL they screw the rest of the people for the second half of the for those people who don't have NFL Network.
No, I think later on this season, I think they have a couple games on NBC.
I think so. I think Lisa did last year, but throughout the first half they do NFL Network and CBS, and then they straight cut it off CBS. Yeah. I remember because I was working when I still worked at Sports Authority. We had a TV in the back, but it only got like the most local of channels, So I was like, whenever it was Thursday night, I was like, yeah, CBS, and they took it off, and I was like,
come on, NFL.
Yeah.
Come on,
NFL. Come on, son.
You know what they should do? I think they should put Monday Night Football back on national television
instead of ESPN. Like when it used to be on ABC, and then literally there was a whole
when Monday Night Football actually meant something.
Yeah, and they had the docket of NBC, ABC, and CBS all having games.
Yeah,
and now Fox. Yeah, I don't know. It's because it's owned by ESPN.
Well, I know that, but come on. Oh, anyway.
Also, one more thing. I think tonight's the first Color Rush game.
Yes, I think we established that.
But I think because they have the same exact jerseys they did last year. Is one of the teams not wearing one of them?
Probably not. Remember
because that was the biggest issue. That game was the issue.
This was the game last year that was the biggest issue.
There's the red and the green.
Yeah.
They look like first off.
One of them was probably going to wear a white.
Yeah, I don't know what's better. The fact that we had to sit through a game that looked like Christmas or the fact that people who unfortunately are colorblind couldn't tell the difference between these teams, Like, which would you rather have? Obviously, I mean, not literally, but like that game was ugly from the get-go. Like, I don't want 2 teams with bright colored jerseys facing off against one another, especially red and green
I know,
ones.
looking like Fruity Pebbles and all that.
Yeah, especially in September or whatever month it was last year.
I'm like, is that the Bills or the Jets? Is that John Cena? I can't tell.
John Cena. Oh, Lord. Okay, let's take our first break. We'll come back, and we're going to preview college football tonight. It's going to be tough to watch both of these games, seeing as they start literally at the same time, roughly. This game starts 5:25 Pacific Standard Time, so that'll be 8:25 there for you on the East Coast fans. But the game we're going to preview between Houston and Cincinnati starts at 5.
Yeah.
8 Eastern. So it's going to be tough if you want to watch both. Hopefully one of them sucks, and you can just, hopefully Houston starts blowing out.
Which I kind of think will happen, but we'll discuss that when we get to it.
Yeah, so we'll take a break real quick. Be right back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
We're back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. So I messed up. It doesn't start at 5.
Yes, you did. You did. You messed up.
The game starts at 4:30. So Houston takes on Cincinnati at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. That is 7:30 on the East Coast. It's on ESPN. So.
Yeah, so you can watch the start of the game.
And then switch over in a little bit under an hour, about 55 minutes.
Yeah,
you can switch over
pretty
to
much.
the
So
good game.
You guys get a chance to see Houston score 21 points on the Bearcats before you can switch on Thursday Night Football.
I was like, what are you talking about? They're going to score 21 points? I get what you mean, yeah. Well, let's preview this show. What do you got for me?
Did you say let's preview this show?
Let's preview this game. Let's do that.
Okay, well, both of these teams, the Houston Cougars and the Cincinnati Bearcats, are 2-0. But, of course, Houston defeated Oklahoma to start the season, which was a huge win.
Little bit of a big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. You know, Oklahoma was a third-ranked team at the time, and Houston didn't play with Greg Ward. I don't know why I couldn't say his name.
Junior.
They did not play with their star quarterback last week due to a shoulder injury, but they did win 42-0.
Yeah, they had a pretty big win in terms of a easy one, I suppose.
And the Cincinnati Bearcats also are 2-0.
Yes, they are.
With pretty double-digit wins.
Pretty.
2 double-digit wins. But they didn't really play anybody.
That's true.
So the Bearcats play the UT Martin Skyhawks
at
home to start the season. And they went on the road and defeated Purdue 38-20.
You know who as far as I know, the most successful player to come out of Purdue is?
Drew Brees?
Yeah. I don't know how many real successful players came out of Purdue.
I don't know. But
Drew Brees did.
I know Purdue because of Drew Brees.
Oh, yeah? Who's the most successful quarterback to come out of Houston?
Kevin Cobb or Case Keenum?
I would say Keenum. I don't know I don't know if you could consider Cobb successful.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, at least Keenum had the
Case Keenum. Well, Case Keenum was a stud too.
He threw 10 touchdowns in one game, man.
Yeah, he was a stud. Unfortunately, he couldn't do that with the Rams on Monday.
Yeah, we'll see if he can throw 10 touchdowns this season.
Or at least, or I don't know. No. But anyway, let's get going.
Yes.
Honestly, I have Houston winning this game. I don't think I should spend too much time, explaining why. But, the competition that Houston faced compared to Cincinnati, pretty
good compared to pretty bad for Cincinnati.
Pretty good, yeah. But don't get me wrong, I expect Bearcats to pull up a fight at times, but I don't know. I expect the Cougars to pull away at the end.
Well, you see, the matchup predictor on ESPN isn't exactly thinking this is going to be a huge blowout. Currently, it's 58
I did see that.
to 42 percentage in favor of Houston.
That's why I just said it's probably going to be close, but the Cougars are going to pull away at the end of the game.
I think they're going to pull away like always. Like they're always like they may score 21, but at no point is it going to be within like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? The Bearcats. I mean, I just Houston. Like, they don't get the credit, man. Their defense is good. Their offense is good.
It's because of the conference turn. That's why I don't get the.
It's understandable, you know. I mean, but they've only allowed 11.5 points per game. You know what I mean? They've only allowed 233 yards, and that's in 2 games. You know what I mean? They've only allowed an average of 42.5 rush yards.
But I'm letting you know right now, if Cincinnati upsets the Cougars playoff chances are done.
And they're probably out of the.
They're probably
They're probably out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
they have to go.
They have to go
undefeated.
Yeah.
And I mean, they can do it. We've talked about their schedule before. I mean, you have obviously they faced 2 tough teams in the beginning. Well, 1 tough team in the beginning, and then Lamar wasn't tough. And they faced Cincinnati, but then they faced Texas State, Connecticut, UConn, you know, Navy, Tulsa, SMU, UCF. Louisville might be a tough matchup if both these teams are still ranked at that point.
Which I think they will. I think they will be.
Mm-hmm. And then Memphis
it might be a top 5 matchup. We don't know by then. We don't know.
I mean, the biggest thing is, I'm sure you and Ben will talk about tomorrow, the Louisville FSU game on Saturday.
Which is game of the week
top
for
10,
me.
2 and 10 right there.
Yeah,
Boom.
First top 10 matchup in college football this year.
Yep.
So
there's a lot of ranked matchups this
there,
week.
I think number 1, number 2, number 3 ranked teams are all going to be on the road.
Yeah, Bama's playing at Ole Miss, who's number 19 currently, and Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Yeah, they're playing at home against Ohio State, who's at 3. So yes, you do have that right, sir. You have that right, good sir.
Oh, thank you.
And then don't forget what probably is going to be the best matchup between ranked teams, purely because of how close they are, would be Michigan State and Notre Dame.
Yeah,
12 and 18.
That's a game that's getting overlooked this weekend.
Mm-hmm. And then also I think USC and Stanford.
Yeah, I do expect
unranked,
that to be a good
but
game.
it's USC and Stanford, you know. But back to the Houston game. I see Houston winning. Do you have Houston winning?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know.
After all that,
they're like your little darling of a team. You know,
dude, I'm wearing a Houston jersey right now.
No, you're not. You don't own a Houston jersey.
You weren't supposed to say that. Okay, well, anyway.
You weren't supposed to look at me like you're trying to tell the truth. Okay, well, let's do this since we both think that they're going to win. Give me an over/under. What do you think they're going to score? Houston. What do you think Houston's got?
I say 45.
45?
Over, yeah.
38.
Over or under?
Under.
Okay, so how many points do you expect Cincinnati to score?
1.
1 point?
I could see him getting maybe 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns,
okay,
maybe.
That's fair.
I understand. I'm always bad at the over-unders. I always just try to guess like a score. I could see Houston putting up 40 again. I could see him putting up like a high 30, you know. I just don't think it might look close. Like it could be 38 to 21, but that looks a lot closer than the game could have been. Kind of game like that, you know. I could see it being like the Houston Oklahoma game. That game was closer than it looked.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. That game score wise looked closer than it was.
Yeah.
After that kick return, Oklahoma was never in it.
No.
You know, after that
it literally took all the momentum.
Yeah, momentum.
Away from the seniors.
Yeah, they just looked like they were just.
They couldn't do anything, man. Mm-hmm. They couldn't, and. You know, Oklahoma, they have a big matchup coming up this weekend, and that is a huge game for Oklahoma. That's a must-win game for them, I think.
Oh, if they want to get it back any relevance.
But it's also an important game for Houston also.
Is that right?
Yes, because if Oklahoma competes well against Ohio State, but if they
strength of schedule.
Strength of schedule, yeah, because if Oklahoma happens to lose that game by like a blowout, that's
like 700-0.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Okay.
That might not be a quality of a win for Houston, which is weird because, you know, you think of Oklahoma, they're in the Big 12 and all that. So that's also an important game for Houston as well.
Well, yeah, you can look at, like we said, the rest of Houston's schedule isn't very impressive.
That's not. So that's why that's a big game for Houston also.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we both have them winning. You guys have to talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
I'll have to tune in.
Yeah, you will.
Maybe.
Or you can just come by and do the show.
But that would mess up the whole dynamic of you and Ben.
Fine.
No. Okay, so we'll take our last break here. We'll come back, and we're going to do the final drive.
The final drive.
I said that. The final drive. I was expecting you to do it again.
The final drive.
Okay. All right, we'll take our last break. We'll be right back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
And welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. So we're going to do the final drive.
The final drive.
That's Jeremiah. So we're going to do the final drive in which we cover some news that has slipped through the cracks of a pretty heavy news week. And that's how the show is going to be now, with the NFL in full light and college football moving as well. So that's what we're going to do. Get over it.
Okay.
Let's start. You want me to start? You want to start?
Yeah.
Me start. You start. Me start. You start.
You start.
Okay, soldier boy. So it was announced yesterday, the list of finalists, first-time finalists for the Hall of Fame. A list that includes a lot of important players. Most notably, LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, is on the list. I think he is definitely going to be a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, first ballot. In my eyes, I think he's on a first ballot. He holds so many records for the running back position.
Yeah, probably one of the best
to ever play
year
the game.
for running back ever.
So pretty much the first-year nominees include Brian Dawkins, Derek Mason, Chad Ochocinco-Johnson, Donovan McNabb, LT, obviously. Drew Bledsoe's in there. Doug Flutie's obviously still around, but he's not first ballot. Of the first ballots, Hines Ward, obviously somebody very near and dear to my heart. If you remember Olin Kreutz, he was a longtime center in the NFL. Moving down to the defensive backs, Bob Sanders, former safety, won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts. And again, like I said, Brian Dawkins. Pretty impressive list of names, if you ask me. Pretty impressive first-year ballot guys.
Don't forget, there's also a finalist from last year on the ballot.
Yes, sir.
Kurt Warner.
I think he'll get in this year.
I think he will too. Terrell Davis, Edgerrin James, Terrell Owens.
I think TD, T.O., and Warner get in.
Yeah, I do. I think so too. And then I think if T.O. doesn't get inducted to the Hall of Fame,
he will. I just think it sometimes takes a while. And actually, too, I don't know if Terrell Davis will get in next year because they don't always do multiples of the same position. And it's hard for me to believe that LT is not a first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, that is hard for me too. It's like, the Damian Thompson had probably the best season ever for a running back in the game. So, of course, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and Terrell Davis could have had a better career, but unfortunately injuries,
forced him out of the game.
Yeah, and then Terrell Owens deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, if he doesn't get in, then I don't know if he is. I just don't know what to say about that if he doesn't get in. But I do expect him to get in this year, or later in 2017 whenever the inductions are announced.
It'll be next year.
Yeah,
but it'll be the end of this year is when they get announced, and it'll be up next year, I believe. So
okay,
I can see it happening.
Do you have another story? You want me to?
You go.
Okay,
and I'll come back.
All right. Broncos linebacker Brandon Marshall.
Yes.
Of course, he kneeled during the opening game.
Yeah.
He lost a couple of endorsement deals because of that.
He lost all of them.
But he got offered a new one.
Really?
By Russell Simmons, the hip hop mogul. Yes. It's for his rush card, actually, I think.
He's got a rush card?
Yeah, the Russell Simmons rush card, yeah. Yeah, and then
that's interesting.
Also, another thing I want to point out about Brandon Marshall is that he said he was going to donate $300 for each tackle this season. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, at least it goes farther than some of these guys just, kind of coming out and doing something. At least now they're doing something that's, instead of just taking a knee, they're doing something constructive in that sense too. You are shedding light on it, but at the same time, a lot of people had a problem with Kaepernick's thing because it seemed insincere. All you're doing is taking a knee. What have you done for the issue, at hand? And then he's, talking about donating money and so on and so forth. So then there's some substance to it, you know what I mean? So I'm happy that at least there's that, he's going about it that way.
Yeah, and then don't forget, Brandon Marshall did play in college with Colin Kaepernick in Nevada.
Yes, he did.
Don't forget about that.
Oh, I remember.
All right.
Oh, I remember. I remember, boy.
And then before I throw it back to you, Russell Simmons said on Instagram that he called Brandon Marshall, quote unquote, a great American hero. So
okay, it's going a little far.
Yeah, but those are his
player.
words. Those aren't
Took a
mine.
knee.
Those aren't his words. Those are his words. Those aren't
no,
mine.
I know.
I'm just
I mean,
letting you know.
But he did like a cool. That's awesome, and I'm not going to get into
the
views of that.
We're
but
not going to get it. We're not going to get into that. I just want to
yeah,
point that
no,
out.
I mean,
and then the two endorsements that Brandon Marshall lost were from CenturyLink.
Yeah, CenturyLink.
And the Air Academy Credit Union.
And one of them was only like 3 months old too. Like
he barely just got that deal. And
they're like, whoops, never mind, take backsies. All right.
He does have a new endorsement deal with Russell Simmons.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
All right, my last one for the day before we get going after yours is Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa obviously has long holdout. We covered it very much on this show throughout his holdout. Didn't play last week, but they added him to the active roster, so one would assume he would play this week. Well, he is unlikely to play, and Week 3 is also in doubt. Yeah. Sadly, they don't know when he will play, He's unlikely to face the Jacksonville Jaguars, and like I said, Week 3 could be in doubt completely.
Yeah, I think, honestly, the Chargers should practically redshirt Joey Bosa this year. Because I don't think Joey Bosa is ever going to get up to the game speed this year anyway. So I honestly think they should just probably practically give him a redshirt year.
Well, it's easier with pass rushers.
Yeah.
Because you can just send him out there and say, okay, go pass rush. But didn't I say that something like this was going to happen?
Yeah.
Didn't I say he was going to get hurt?
We both did. We both did because he missed so much time. And, of course, your body is not going to be in football shape. Joey Bosa did say he kept himself in great physical shape throughout the summer.
There's a difference between that and football shape.
Exactly. So he's not conditioned for, playing football for 60 minutes or playing the game for a less significant amount of time. Mm-hmm. But, I don't see Bosa playing this year because, he just, one, he hasn't adjusted to the game speed because he missed so much time. And two, injuries are probably going to be a concern for the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that aspect. Like you said, we both said it was going to happen. I don't know if he should get redshirted in that sense. Eventually he can be productive probably. Like I said, it's easier with pass rushers. But I get where you're coming from with that at least,
Yeah, but if he does get time, playing time this year, it probably won't be till like the end of the season, probably the last few games, to get him acclimated in the defense and pretty much the game itself.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, let's get your last one, and then I have a little thing to say before we leave, and we'll be good.
All right, you're probably gonna hate me for this last story, Alex.
I hate you already, so it's okay.
But guess what? Guess what you guys can do? You can get a custom nameplate on your favorite NFL team jersey with the name Harambe on the back. Yes, right. It is the name Harambe is back in business, folks. According to Fanatics. They temporarily banned the name, but it is off the ban list. And you can put Harambe on the back of your favorite NFL team jersey now.
I feel like you could also literally do those jerseys in which you customize them with a name, like you could put your own last name on there, and you could do the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
Yeah, but they said, because usually, Fanatics has, a list.
Yeah.
Of banned words, that have to do with profanity, but bad words.
Profanity.
There you go, profanity, which are bad words, and a lot of slang terms that are kind of like inappropriate. So Harambe got added to that list. I don't know why. I think it's because
it became a joke.
It did became a joke for because if you guys remember the story, just Google it. I'm not gonna get way into it right now. But yeah, you can. For all you guys that are infatuated with the Harambe memes on the internet, you can now do it.
I mean, if you're into that, sure. If you want to spend money on that jersey, sure.
And just to put this in perspective, a couple of athletes have actually had Harambe shirt. Like I remember New York Mets pitcher Noah Syndergaard.
I'm not surprised. He's a younger kid.
He went to the Cincinnati Zoo with the R.I.P. Harambe shirt.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it actually is pretty funny. But then again, you were at the Cincinnati Zoo when it happened. And the Harambe movement got such a huge social media presence because it got so huge that the Cincinnati Zoo deleted its Twitter.
Yeah, because people kept messaging them. I feel like it got so huge because people treated it as a joke, though.
It did. It did get treated as a joke. But that's all I want to say. If you guys like Harambe, like you guys say you would do on the internet, you can now put it on the back of your NFL team jersey.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, the last thing I was going to say is I did see this as we were getting ready to get going. The Jets are skipping Color Rush tonight.
Are they?
So they'll be wearing white, and the Bills will be wearing their all reds, I imagine.
Okay. Which I thought would happen.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Yeah.
So they are skipping.
Skipping.
So you know.
Are you skipping the game? Or are they skipping the Color Rush?
We'll see. Color Rush. Color Rush probably.
We'll see. We'll probably let you guys know about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
If the Jets skip the game as well as the Color Rush.
Yeah. Now, of course, I won't be here to talk about the game tomorrow. It's just Jeremiah and my replacement, Imposter Ben. But
he's not an imposter. He's a different person.
Anyways, I'll be back on Monday. So, Jeremiah, since I won't be here tomorrow, why don't you tell them what's on the docket and send us home?
What's on the docket for tomorrow?
Sure.
Okay, of course we're going to, recap the Thursday night game tomorrow morning. And as well as the Houston and Cincinnati game. And we have a huge week of college football, guys.
Yeah,
we got a couple of big games coming up on Saturday, and as well, of course, week 2 of the NFL season, folks. So it's tomorrow's the biggest show of the week. The biggest show.
Oh yeah,
it's my favorite show to do because you want to know why?
Because I'm not here.
Because Alex is not here.
I knew it. I took the joke from under you, and now it doesn't hurt my feelings.
It doesn't even. It's not even funny because you ruined it.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah, that's for tomorrow.
All right. Well, if you missed my voice, you can find me on the GSMC football podcast here at Jeremiah on our website, gsmcpodcast.com. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play as well, and YouTube and Facebook. You can find us at GSMC Football Podcast. You can also find us at the handles GSMC_football on Twitter and Instagram as well. As always, I will see you guys on Monday. Jeremiah will be back tomorrow. I just want to say very nice and slowly catch you on the flippity flip.
Catch you guys on the flippity flip.